All right, so our app is looking really good at this point. One last thing that we're going to add to it to make it look even better is a nav bar. And this is the exciting part where we'll actually get to come up with, a fictional name for our software and, stuff like that. So let's create our new nav bar. And this nav bar actually isn't really going to have much functionality at this point because the only page that we really have a name for, or a specific route for, that is our notes page. Okay, so essentially we're just going to have a title up in the top left-hand corner, right? Whatever we want to call our app, and that's going to be about the extent of the nav bar. So here's what that's going to look like. We're going to create a new component here inside our components folder, and we're going to call it navbar.js. And inside here, we're just going to define our component by saying export const navbar. Oops, there we go. Navbar equals, and we're going to say return. We're going to use a nav element here, and inside it we're going to put a link, which we're importing from React Router DOM. Again, let me just correct the quotation marks there. We're going to say link now to, and we're just going to have this be a link to notes. And inside here, we're just going to have an H1 heading, which will contain the name of our app. Now, you can decide for yourself what you want this to be called. I'm just going to use a fictional name that I came up with. We're going to call it something like Note Lab with a little bar or like an umlaut or something over the O. Some kind of tech startup-y kind of name. All right, now in order to get that bar over the O, I'm just going to copy and paste that. If you want it to, you can just Google O-macron is what that's called. O-macron. And you should be able to find that symbol and just copy it and paste it like that. Okay, so we have our fantastic name for our web application, Note Lab. So what we're going to do now is add a little bit of styling to this. Okay, if we, well, first of all, let's add our nav bar to our application. We're going to open up routes.js. And inside here, right above the content container, we're going to add our navbar component, which is going to be automatically imported for me. And if we take a look at what it looks like so far, we see that it's just got that annoying default styling for a link. So what we're going to do here is go into index.css and add some styles for it. Okay, so we're just going to add a style for the nav element, and for that we're going to say padding 16 pixels. That'll just give it a little bit more space than it had. There we go. And what else? For the title itself, what we're going to do is inside our nav bar, we're going to give this a class name of some sort. In fact, let's give it to the heading here. We'll say class name. We'll say brand logo. And we'll use that to correct the styling. So we'll say dot brand logo. And what we're going to do is say color black. And we'll say text decoration none. That will get rid of the coloring and the underline. Oops, it looks like that didn't quite work. So here, let's go back and add this to the link component, actually. We're going to remove that off of there. We're going to add class name to the link component. Let's see if that made a difference. Okay, yep, sure enough, it got rid of that text decoration thing. And if we click on this now, it'll take us to notes, right? If we go to another page and click on it, we'll see that that takes us directly to notes. So another thing that I want to do, just to make this a little more fashionable, I suppose, if I can even use that word, what we're going to do is highlight part of this title so that not is displayed in a different color. Now you might be thinking, what? Sean's using color in his applications? He always does things in black and gray and white. Well, everybody has to live a little bit, I suppose. So what we're going to do for that, we're going to add a span, and that's going to have the class name of, we'll say something like brand, there we go, brand highlight. And I'm going to use the color red for this, I suppose. All right, we're just going to highlight the note part of it. And we'll say /span to close off that tag. And now inside index.css, we're just going to say dot brand highlight. And for that, we're going to say color red. Okay, and that looks pretty good if I do say so myself. If you want to use a different color, if you want to use a different name, if you want to use whatever you want to change about this, feel free to do that. But the point is that we now have a working nav bar for our application. So in the future, if we want to add things like a login button, that kind of thing, we'll be able to up here. Well, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.